everybody, my name is Brandon Baines. So I am a entrepreneur, or I guess considered as like a serial entrepreneur in a sense, no one got too far to it. I am actually from Baltimore, Maryland. I actually currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia. Been there for about 7 to 8 years. Originally when I first started here in Baltimore, I managed supermarkets. My grandfather was the largest minority-owned supermarket chain in the United States. Graduated high school, went into store management role, started learning business development, and as I kind of expanded and moved to Atlanta, I got into sales for real estate. Worked in real estate for 4 years, self-taught myself everything about real estate, by a developer. I worked for, well, I'm not going to every developer do it, but worked for a developer for 4 years. They said, hey, if you want to understand real estate development, you got to study it all. As I started studying it, I started understanding people really didn't understand the process of like real estate development, how much it takes to actually get a house from stick all the way down to you actually moving into the house. So what I started doing was just breaking down every part of it and explaining it to people. Like from there, I just thought that I really wanted to get into real estate development. And I took a course from Cornell University to kind of understand my client and my customer. So I can make sure that when I open up my brokerage, I can actually be an asset to them versus me just being a general real estate agent and just saying, hey, you want to buy a house, you want to flip it, or you want to get in development. Let me actually understand what my target client wants and what's their issue. So learning that as my, I guess because of my understanding, I had to kind of make sure that I put boundaries and things in place for me to kind of start to make sure that I achieve my goals. I never had no real formal college training, so everything was like, all right, so what would you do in this process? How do you kind of combat like breaking down like work or how to separate yourself? Because technically I can just be business. I don't need a personal life. I can kind of work every day, all day. In fact, I think my biggest issue is when people say that I'm not probably a personal life. I can just go straight to work. I can work 7 days a week. So learning how to kind of balance that, but also knowing like, hey, I gotta walk outside, I gotta breathe, I gotta eat, I gotta enjoy life. Everything's not gonna be about work. Where's the family at? And kind of interceding with that. Really just kind of finding different areas where you can make sure that as your creative process comes involved, like where do I see opportunity? Where do I see vision for growth? I remember one time I used to sit in my friend DJ at the club, strip club, don't judge me. And I used to sit there and, you know, they got strippers, and I'll be like, y'all see this business, like, you know, y'all can do this, and then you can leverage this. Like, do you understand the psychology about this? And because everything was always centered around business, it all be like, all I seen this was numbers. Like, hey, this is how you make more money, this is how you can do this. And they would just be like, oh, wow. And so all my friends would just come to me. Now I got like people that come to me from business development, or hey, how do I grow this? How do I leverage this business? Because I can look at an asset and just be like, oh, yeah, you can grow it to this, you can scale it. This is the target you need to do, whatever. I'm very systematic. So everything has to be in a process for me. Everything works in a scale. And then once I can do it, everyday functions normal. Everything's kind of in my head. I don't really write down a lot of notes unless it's creativity. I don't write on my day-to-day. I can kind of remember my entire schedule. And I just kind of work based off of that.
So my experience was exactly what I needed, in the right time, right space, like everything, the environment, the vibe, like everything was cool. Just finding that space, being by the window, having a view, because before I thought like I had to have a water view and I gotta have like this perfect, and it's just like, no, like just setting that vibe and then having that mindset and then that determination of what you're here, why you're doing this. I told myself that I wasn't going to work over the summer. Like the school year has ended. Now that I'm doing a different type of work, which is internal work and revamping my project. So being here, just going through the guide and typing things out. Like I had some moments where I got stuck a little bit, but he helped me out. It was questions that I was able to like flow, and then it was some I had to like sit back and really think about it for a while and not judge myself from resting. And I feel like a lot of us in different communities families, and specifically like just Black women and being a mother, like just always on go. You got a 9 to 5 to do, 5 to 9 to whatever else, and just having a moment to just focus on me and what it is that I needed to do, and having no distractions, and then having that support. It was just like, okay, like if I needed to get something to drink, there's something out in here that can serve me a drink. My love language is active service, so I had everything that I needed. And I feel like even though it was only an hour and a half, 2 hours, like I did what I said I was going to do. I was able to see the things that I wrote out, get a lot off my chest, in addition to making goals, so like my weekly goals, and actually putting a date on it and making sure that I do it. So I'm proud of myself, and my daughter's really proud of me too. So.
I'm Dana. You actually really inspired me. I was sitting at the same table, and anytime I felt like I was off track or not focused, I looked over and I was like, okay, she's killing it. So let me not look at my phone and just try and be in it a little longer. So I just appreciate everyone being in this space. It was really inspiring to be working alongside other creatives. I think as a creative, it feels really lonely sometimes. And I'm grateful to the space that we're all in, and I am such a huge fan of Valencia. I'm an educator, or former educator for Baltimore City Schools, and met her about 5 years ago before I quit my job to start my business to support the mental health and wellness of teachers. And now I'm finishing my first book, so I have about 3 weeks left. Thank you. And it's like the most terrifying, surreal, awful, just like enormous task ever, and I'm so grateful for it. And I also realize like what I've learned about myself in writing this book. So I really appreciate the framework of GRO, and like went through each one, and what helped me specifically was the just start. So I find that the inertia is what's really challenging for me, is like just making that first step. So it was really helpful to chunk it into 3 15-minute chunks. So instead of letting the timer run to 45 minutes, after every 15 minutes I restarted it. So it just made it feel like a lot more digestible. And I created coloring pages so that it's black and white for teachers to color the affirmations in the middle. And so that way they can participate in the book and color in these like 12 different pages throughout the book. So that was my big thing that I'm like really excited. I actually got to cross off my list. And it was fun because it was the design element. So I just felt really creative in the space. I also appreciated the one task at a time, creating a self-compassion list to give yourself grace, because I do feel like I am like really hard on myself, to echo some of the things that you've shared. And so I'd like to just read those aloud kind of as my final W, as after I'm finished. I'm learning how to integrate work and life in a way that is sustainable for me. I'm actively undoing and pattern interrupting decades of generational trauma simply by existing. I am actively and intentionally showing up for myself and my community. So thank you all so much.
So my name is Terry, and I forgot about this. I was taking a nap and then I woke up and I was like, oh shoot, the event. And I came last time and I really enjoyed it. I love Valencia, she was my old neighbor. So I want to support, and I forgot to refer to the GRO outline. I really did, but a lot of what you guys said resonated with me. Like, I was beating myself up because I lost an hour, and then when it started raining, I was talking to my friend next to me. I was like, it's raining, and like, I can't wait. I'm not gonna get enough done. But the idea of just starting, I really believe in, and also like doing a little bit every day, not beating yourself up. Even though I only got to be here for 30 minutes for the working part, I got so much done, and I felt very calm. I was like okay with that, and I was like going through, and I got more done than I thought I would. And the space, and seeing people, you know, doing what they need to do, and being intentional, and like showing up, even if it's just for an hour, 30 minutes, is so powerful. And I want to be mindful to do a little bit and to not be so focused on what I wish I would have done, and being appreciative of what I was able to do. So I really appreciate that. So thank you.
Hi everyone, I am May, and I am currently working as a recipe developer, and today I really went in with the O12, which is check it in with yourself, like before, during, after, and for me this was kind of tremendous. I've been here a bunch of times. If you saw me 6 months ago, I was really just starting my personal brand, kicking off the content creation cycle for myself. And today I'm like sitting down, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this work, but halfway through it's like I'm checking in with myself and I'm realizing like I'm kind of now living the dream. What I do for a living now, I just started a new job, picked up a new client, and all I do is look at food all day. I'm just like, it is honestly a dream to be able to do this, pay my rent, make a living out of it, and just wake up every day excited to live life. So to really be able to check in, before I was feeling a little resentful, I was kind of like, I don't really feel that motivated. I don't want to be sitting down on a Sunday evening doing computer work, only to realize during and after, like, this is what I signed up for. This is what I love. And to really see that transformation, and I think coming to these sessions has been kind of a reflection period for me too. Whether it was 6 months ago, what was I working on? Now it's like, I just got a new job. I'm sadly moving out of here, but I have a new sense of security, a new sense of creativity. I've built my personal brand and it's taken off. I'm about to finish my degree in about a month, so it's just so many good things coming from this, and I just wanted to share and celebrate.
Hello everyone, my name is Rod, and you probably assumed when you saw me that I was a science fiction and fantasy author when you saw me. But that's what I do, I write books. We learned through Eventbrite about this, my wife and I was over there, about this event, and productivity is a big part of what I do. Congratulations on finishing your book. I know how hard that is. And I guess without knowing, I was already using one of your principles, just starting. Because everybody usually asks me, like, how do you write a book? Like, first you have to start writing, and then follow through and finish that process. And it's been a real good help. I was able to talk to Brandon while we were sitting here and kind of work through ideas, because the creative side of things, I've kind of got a handle on now. Just published my 5th novel in this March. And now it's more about trying to build the business side of it, become more proficient and efficient at the business practices, because most creatives think only about creativity. That's all we're about. Let's just, they have the build it and they will come attitude, and that's not necessarily true. Once you've created something, now you have to go about marketing and selling it and finding a target market and doing those type of disciplines. And I know a lot of creatives kind of, they want to create, they don't necessarily want to sell anything. I just want to sit in the lab and create. I want to make music, I want to make paintings, I want to create art, I want to write books. And they think after you've done that, like the job is over. Really, that's really when things start kind of beginning. Now you have this thing, now you have to get it to the people that you feel are interested in that thing. So I started messing around with TikTok, I have Instagram. It's just, that's going to be the biggest burden, I think, to me, the biggest obstacle as far as executing. It's been helping. We have, I believe, downloaded the book now, and it's on Google Drive, so everybody in the house has access to it. I'm going to read through and hopefully put some of those things in practice. It's nice to see you all here. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Monika. I'm going to follow up on my husband, Rod. And this is our first Grow session. And I am a web developer, web strategist by day. And I also have a Star Trek podcast, so I co-host with a dear friend, and it's Trekkie and Beyond, a Star Trek podcast. And we take a different angle looking at DEI for the Star Trek series. And it's hard for me to juggle my day job, and then which has creativity, but there's formal creativity within the North Carolina A&T brand. And then supporting my creativity within the Star Trek universe and one of my hobbies. And so I have downloaded the Grow instruction guide, and I'm looking forward to going through those steps. I was able to dive in today in one of the videos that I have to edit, and so that's what's the most challenging part of the creative side for me. recording the videos, talking about Star Trek. I can do that every day, all day. Finding the time to edit the video is much, and adding images and so forth like that is much harder. And so I was able to use today's session to edit down a video. Some of you may have seen me with a headphone and with iMovie, but thank you for the support, and it's a great space to do this. And the Wi-Fi was excellent for me, and the chai was lovely. Thank you.